Her Imperial Majesty, His Imperial Majesty. The word imperial came from the Latin word imperialis or imperialium. For your doubts, my first degree is in classical studies, which means the study of history, philosophy, religion, and languages, archaeology inclusive. And so, from time to time, I'm a researcher, as a classicist, and also as a lawyer. I'm giving you my background. So, an empire, which is the English word for imperialism or imperialist or imperialium, means an empire. An empire means there are kingdoms under the empire. And with that name or that title be compatible with Yoruba kings and their wives. What is the place of a wife of a king in Yoruba land? Come with me. So yesterday, we're all aware of what happened on social media, where I corrected, sometimes last year I corrected the former Olori. Sorry, I corrected one of the Oloris of Oni of Ife, Ashley, and told her to stop dressing herself as her Imperial Majesty, as that title was not bestowed upon her as at the time of her marriage and up till date by the Oni of Ife. For you to be entitled or be able to call yourself Her Imperial Majesty or His Imperial Majesty, it must mean that that particular emperor, not now a king, the emperor is higher in status than a king. Yes. The empire now has different kings that he or she rules over. I don't know if you're getting me. Now, at what point did Ife rule over kingdoms? I have been seeing, I went on, Wikipedia this morning and I edited some out and the person re-edited it. There are lies being peddled that Ife had an empire, that Oyo, Ijebus, yes, Oyo, Ijebus, and some other people were under the Ife Empire. It's on Wikipedia. In fact, they referred that Ife existed in the classical times of 1203 to 1400. And I said, no, those are not classical times. Classical times span between the 8th century BC to the 5th century AD. And Ife, as at that time or in historical times, was not in existence. That is debatable. But that to say classical times was 14th or 13th century, the 11th and 13th century, that's not true. That's not classical. You know, there are a lot of things being conjured in social media. I think some people are even paying certain foreigners to write stories so it looks like it's the authentic information. Now let's go back to what we're discussing here. And that is the issue of Imperial and her royal, or his or her Imperial Majesty. Like I said, Ife did not have a kingdom. Ife was respected as the house of Oduduwa's children and as the house of Oduduwa. This is not to disparage any city or town. Now, I want to move away from that because I don't want to make some political or inter-Yoruba or intra-Yoruba intra-Yoruba, or like intra-Yoruba. I don't want to hurt Yoruba people, you understand, in general. So let's move away from that particular topic of was there an empire, but we all know Ife did not have an empire, and that's it. Now, the place of Oloris in Yoruba land. If a king, let's assume a king is or was an imperial king, an emperor, his Imperial Majesty. Is that truly the title for a Yoruba king? No, because that is a foreign adaptation. And must we follow foreign adaptations? In Yoruba land, a king can have kingdom, like the Alaafin of Oyo had kingdoms. One of the features of a kingdom, or an empire, sorry, don't let me say kingdom. One of the features, because there are kingdoms under empire, one of the features of an empire is that you will conquer people with your culture, with your language, and your religion. Now, but most importantly, your language. Oyo as a language, as a dialect of Yoruba, is widely spoken in Yoruba land. If you can show that there are other cultures or other intra-Yoruba communities, that have, what would I call it, that they speak other languages, like the Jebus have their own language. The Jeshas have their own language. How many people speak the language of the Jebus or of the Jeshas? How many speak Oyo? Oyo spans across the coast of Africa as a language. That's one of the things you know that, okay, this is an empire. Now, even if we have imperialists as in the Yoruba kingdoms, our wives of kings in Yoruba land entitled to call themselves Imperial Majesty. First, you must look at the role of a wife in Yoruba land as an Olori. I'm sorry to say this. In Yoruba land, the Olori has no place in Yoruba history. In fact, there's more reverence. Yes, there's more reverence. That's what I mean, not reference. Reverence to Iyalode than an Olori. That is why you see in Oni's palace today, you will see that there are certain women, Yakinikon, that take the front burner even before the Oloris, because Yoruba system does not encourage that the fact that you're married to a king means that you take the front burner. No. In fact, as an Olori, your duty is to take care of children and your husband in the palace, limited to. Your duty is limited to taking care of your children and husband in the palace. You have been reclused to the chambers, the inner chambers of the king, and also the kitchen. The Yalode in the traditional council of Yorubas is the head of the women in Yoruba land. Yes. And so the Yalode is the one that is now the head of all Iyalojas, the market women. The market women, each market has its Iyaloja. The Iyaloja would defer to the Yalode and give her constant feedback. In fact, in Yoruba history, we have learnt that even the Oloris, when they want certain things, or maybe things have been, they think the society is, the women need to get something done, blah, blah, whatever it is, they would have to speak to the Yalode to be able to present such matters in the council, because the Olori has no place in council. In the Western world, and that's why I'm saying that, is that title, His Imperial Majesty, is it ideal in Yoruba land? Because it will mean that when the king is not around, or when the king is sick, just like how we saw in England, there was tussle between Prince William and Camilla, Camilla, Her Royal Majesty, yes, that he's calling the shots. In Yoruba land, it's not done like that. If there is a king, or maybe the king has some infirmities, that maybe is ill, then